Welcome to The Nooner, a daily dispatch of open-ended ideas from J.E. Peterson, but you can call me Jordan. For best results, head over to Substack, where you can sign up to get the Dispatch's Weekly Digest, which includes some extras that I don't share anywhere else. You can find a link to that in the description of this episode. Alright, here's today. The simplest definition of faith, according to me. What even is faith? This question has dogged me my whole life. I grew up the only child of a devoutly Mormon mother. We went to church every week, where I was also involved in religious youth programs and even attended a scripture study class every morning at 6 a.m. all 4 years of high school. Then I went to BYU for a semester before serving a 2-year mission. After the mission, I went back to BYU for another 5 years. Despite big swings in my relationship to so-called questions of faith, and spending years exploring the trenches of atheism and throw-your-hands-up agnosticism, I never did stop going to church. So, faith. According to the core tenets of my own religion, faith is the first principle. And from what I understand of early Silicon Valley culture and American innovation, first principles thinking is about stripping everything away to get down to the basic fundamentals of any given topic or question. The first principle, in other words, should be something simple, something solid, indivisible, irrefutable. So, faith? For a first principle, it sure seems to be a tough one around which to achieve any kind of consensus. There are countless volumes written on the subject, endless arguments and circular rhetoric both supporting and challenging whatever meaning anyone dares attach to the word. So what, do I just give up on faith as a first principle? Well, since that would be tantamount to giving up on my entire religious heritage and utterly recusing myself from most cosmological conversations, you can probably guess my answer. No! Instead, I'll try to do what so very many have done before, and probably better. I'll try to define faith. Based on everything I've read, heard, and experienced, I believe the best synonym for faith is trust. And of course, trust requires an object. Trust in what? I'm reminded of David Foster Wallace's famous observation that everybody worships. The only choice we get is what to worship. He goes on to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of different categories of things people choose to worship. But we've switched terms again, haven't we? So let's define worship as the active exercise of faith, which, as I'm endeavoring to define it, is trust. This feels right, doesn't it? It also feels appropriately challenging, not in the sense that it's difficult to understand, but in the sense that it's perhaps more demanding than we'd like. Because while we don't like to believe this about ourselves, the truth is that most of our actions are based on trust in pretty untrustworthy things, like youth, money, and power. Even trust in our own selves can be, and often is, ruinous. Inside this framing, faith starts to feel like a viable first principle of any religion. Because at its very root, religion is a challenge to change your behavior to align with something or someone greater than yourself. More reliable, more trustworthy. So, faith. Who or what can you trust more than anyone or anything else? If you like today's episode, I hope you'll share it with someone. No, I'm not asking you to spam your socials. I mean, obviously you can if you want to, but everyone knows a thoughtful, well-timed message can make all the difference in someone's day. So if the spirit moves, send a text. And if you haven't yet, head over to The Nooner on Substack to get access to the Dispatch's Weekly Digest, including stuff like music recommendations, TMI updates from my personal life, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing I like you more than other people. Okay, that's it for today. See you at noon tomorrow.